Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stampin' Up with Jaimie. If you're catching this on replay or on my YouTube channel, thank you so much for watching. This is my Wednesday night Facebook Live tutorial. I'm pretty excited about tonight cards. I was working on it a little bit earlier and kind of playing around, and I have to say it is so much fun. My card uses the So Many Stars bundle, which includes the So Many Stars stamp set. This is really fun. Although this is primarily like Christmas sentiments and a Christmas sayings and kind of a Christmas feel, I really feel like these stars are so versatile for pretty much any occasion, and that's what I love because they can be used for like masculine cards, birthdays, graduations, promotions, pretty much any sort of occasion you can use a star for. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Here's the stamp set. It's got some great sentiments, even some great ones that are good for the inside, which is great. We've got this kind of cluster of stars here, and these are one stamp. Each of those are one stamp. They're all connected, and then some bigger stars. But the showstopper here, for me at least, are the dies. Let me show you them. They are the stitched, it's a tongue twister, stitched stars dies, and this is what they look like. Hello ladies, thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I appreciate it. Look at all these dies, like holy moly. There's a lot going on here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these stitched stars, and they stitch the inside as well as the outside, so the positive as well as the negative. We've got these kind of that have, well, whatever they're called, these little cutouts. We have a swirl down here. We're using that tonight. And then these cluster of stars that I showed you down here, you can use by themselves, but they do line up to this kind of flourish of stars here. And then you've got some kind of fun things like offshoots that can be kind of coming out from the stars. So I love this bundle. It is in the holiday catalog right now. But I really feel like this is an investment for like your holiday projects and stamps, but even across birthdays and, like I said, graduations and just like your general congrats cards. And I think it looks great for masculine cards, which are always kind of tricky. This is definitely one that can cross over to feminine and masculine, kids, teenagers. It really covers so many different occasions. So let me just kind of walk you through my card tonight. What'd she say? Although I love this set, I wish that there was a few 6-pointed stars. I would love to use the for Hanukkah cards. Yeah, with the DSP this week is beautiful. Beautimous. I agree, Roz. I really wish there was something more for Hanukkah. I agree, but maybe, no, I guess you can't. I was gonna like, can you do some surgery on a star? But I don't even think you can do that. So here's my card tonight. It's got lots of shimmer, as you can see. My lights are catching it. So lots of just so much fun. I'm gonna walk you through because it just was so much fun to make. I was working on it this afternoon. I kind of had a busy week, so I came home from work today and started working on it, and it was a lot of fun. So my card base here is Night of Navy cardstock. I am using the Brightly Gleaming Specialty Designer Series paper, and those colors, that paper comes coordinated with Mossy Meadow, Pretty Peacock, and Night of Navy. Those are all in the Designer Series paper here, as well as gold in this paper here. But I'm primarily just pulling out the navy. Navy and the Very Vanilla is the one that I'm kind of working with. Love the foil. Oh, thank you, Lynn. It's so fun. So fun. And it's copper, which is kind of different. It's not your silver. It's not your gold. Copper has a nice, it's just like a warm, I feel like it's a warm metallic. So this is our 4.5 by 11 scored at 5.5 card base. I have it opening like that. And we're going to cover the whole entire front with, again, a pattern from the Brightly Gleaming Specialty Designer Series paper. It's specialty because it has bits of that gold foil all throughout the paper. It's really beautiful. My cardstock's a little too wide. I just got to trim it down. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. That should be better. If not, we'd have a whole piece kind of hanging over, and we don't want that. Is that better? Oh yeah, much better. So that's covering the entire card front there. Yes, I've been trying to operate and think that I have actually come up with the usable 6-point star. Oh, there you go. The colors are wonderful. I think there was something like years and years ago, kind of designed for Hanukkah and whatnot, but I don't think there's been anything since. So throw your suggestions to Stampin' Up. I know there's a bunch of demonstrators that were asking for it as well, Roz. Okay, so there's our card front. Now, I did kind of a tight layer here. I have copper foil, Very Vanilla, and Night of Navy. However, I played with it a little bit differently, and let me know what you think. I cut these two out with the rectangle stitch dies. The Night of Navy is a little hard to see, but it is stitched. And I kind of left it a little bigger. And then this one was a tight layer. So I don't know, I kind of like that. In my example here, I only did the stitched on the Night of Navy, and I think it's a little harder to see. And I really wanted, because there's so much stitching in the star, I wanted to kind of bring it into the rectangle as well. So I decided for you guys to cut out the Night of Navy as well as the Very Vanilla using the stitch dies. The Night of Navy is measuring about, let's see here, 2 5/8 by 4. And the Very Vanilla is measuring 3 by 4 3/8. Okay, now, I just realized I did not mount my, there's like this little, I don't know if you can see this guy here. It kind of looks like a flourish, but it is actually tiny, tiny, tiny stars. So I'm going to just get that on a block here. It is a photopolymer stamp set, so super easy. Oh boy, there we go. And user friendly. And I'm going to stamp this kind of across my Night of Navy here. I'm going to move these out of the way because they do have quite a little glare from my lights. Now you're going to see, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? There, that way. This stamp is very like irregular shaped. It's not a circle, it's not a square, and it's meant to they kind of cookie cutter into each other. So that you don't really see any lines per se, which is kind of clever on Stampin' Up's part. And I'm going to stamp it across my Night of Navy cardstock in Night of Navy ink. Keep in mind that kind of the center of it is not going to be shown. It's going to be covered because of the star. But we can kind of stamp. And as you can see, they kind of, it's going to be hard, but see how they kind of work together? Because it's that irregular shape, just kind of keep turning it around until it sort of fits together. And just kind of keep rotating your stamp here. And you're going to find that it fits really nicely. Okay, so I did that all across the front of my card cardstock, my Night of Navy. Very subtle, just kind of an added sort of like a background of stars. Not so much like in your face stars, but sort of more subtle. And we are going to mount that on my Very Vanilla. When you use your stitch, keep in mind that there is a front and a back. I don't know if you've noticed this, but the front is the indents are kind of going in, and then if you flip it around, the back, they're coming out. So the back side of this Night of Navy is actually stamped because I stamped it wrong. And then I realized I had stamped all across the back of it instead of the front, and I had to flip it over and do it again. So there is a front and a back to all the stitched. Just kind of something to keep in mind. If you goof up, probably no one would ever notice, quite honestly, but you might, and I don't know about you, but that would drive me nuts. So something to keep in mind. Yes, exactly, a starry night. There it is, okay? And that's just gonna get adhered to my card. This is just a bunch of layering that I'm doing at this point. But the real fun is, for me at least, was the star, and that's what we're gonna work on right now. Okay, so, ta-da! I already went ahead and used, well, okay, let me walk you through my thought process. I initially, before I started pulling out anything, I thought, oh, I'll use a DSP and make my kind of 3D star that way. And this is kind of what I came up with, and I do like it. It's super fun. it just pops the star. You can make really fun like ornaments out of these and whatnot, but you kind of lose a little bit of the star in it. So then I thought, ooh, I wonder what it's going to look like in foil. So I took I think this is supposed, well, I'm not going to say what color it's supposed to be because I don't remember. But I took this green that I had sitting around and I did it and I loved it. The light just catches all those kind of angles of the 3D star and it just pops. So I said, forget that. I'm going to use the copper. And so that's how my thought process got to copper. These are great, but not exactly what I wanted to go with tonight. So you're going to need your scoring. There's an official name to this. I can't remember what it is. And you're going to have to score the front as well as the back of your star. This star here, let me tell you, because there's so many different sizes in that die. This one is it's a little over 3 inches. Okay, so if you're looking to have this exact same size star for your project, it's the one that's about 3 inches. And all I did is, you're going to see there's grooves in this. Okay, you can also use like a trimmer. If your trimmer has a scoring blade on it, you could use that. I found this plate gave me a little bit more control, especially with like this kind of pen thing, utensil thing. I don't know what this is called, like stylus almost. It gave me just a little bit more control. So again, you're gonna score the front as well as the back. When you score, I started with the back and I just kind of put the tip of the star into one of the grooves. So it's kind of like in there, and I try to aim for straight, and I'm using the smaller end of it. There's a smaller end and then a bigger end. I'm using the smaller end, and I'm going to catch that groove, and I'm going to go till eyeballing the center of the star. Okay. I'm going to rotate it and do the same with this one. Catch the groove. You kind of have to start off slow because it's can be challenging finding that groove, especially when you're like at the tip of a star like that. A stylus. Okay, there we go. I knew there had to have been like an official term for this. Again, find that groove. Start slow, kind of like the paper is pliable. You know, it conforms, it molds. That's why we're able to emboss it and such. So just take your time, turn it again. You got to do this for all 5 sides. Find the groove, go to the center, turn it again, find the groove. Oops, I forgot to mute my computer. Okay. Find the groove and go to the center. Okay. So that ends up with something like this. Now I started kind of molding it, and then I realized it wasn't working. And so I knew Mary Deathridge, she was also like a co-line of mine, and the team that we have had done a card similar. And so I thought, okay, I'm obviously missing a step here. And that's when I found out I was supposed to flip it over. And now I have my tips in other grooves. They almost like, it fits perfectly. And I'm going to go from the center here, the center to the center. So now I'm embossing the other side. Flip it over, that end, the kind of corner of the star to the center. Flip it again, corner of the star to the center. Again, and last time, and again. So at this point, this is what I have. So some of it's been embossed from the back. Your big lines are embossed from the back, and then your short ones are embossed from the front. And then you should be done. And then all you have to do is verily, I'm very old school, I guess, today. very slowly kind of mold your paper, your cardstock here. And I found kind of starting to bend on the longer sort of arm of the star was best, as opposed to working the short ones. Just kind of like my back finger is pushing into it, and then my top finger is kind of bending it. And I did that first. Then I kind of worked the indent on the front. Oops, go down, not up. Just kind of working that crease to go in, to bend in. Come on. All the other ones did it. There we go. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when I scored the back and I was trying to find that center, I didn't find it perfectly. And I really don't think it matters, because once you start bending your star and making it get that 3D form, it almost like naturally finds the center. And so you don't have to worry about having to perfectly have found the center of the star. And that's what you're left with. Ta-da! Isn't that so fun? I feel like I just want to make a bunch of these and put them on my Christmas tree or something. Like, they're just so fun. So fun. Okay. Ta-da! Again, you can use just like regular DSP. You could use regular cardstock. My preference is some sort of foil cardstock, your metallic. It just catches the light so pretty. So here's what I want to tell you, or maybe you can chime in, because I went one step further and added this very vanilla star on the front. But I kind of like it without it. Okay, see what I'm saying? Like, this is what it would kind of look like without it, and this is what it looks like with it. Now I'm going to add the other swirls and the ribbon and all that stuff, and whatnot. But what do you think? Very vanilla star, or just leave the copper? While you're thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside. I normally don't do inside of cards because I like to write a lot when I mail them. However, when I'm sending out so many Christmas cards that I have to send, I just don't have the time to write lots and lots of messages. So I've been very intentional about stamping the inside of Christmas cards. Like I said, I normally leave it blank, but last year I left them all blank, and then it literally took me one weekend to stamp all the insides. That wasn't even like writing them. That was just cutting the cardstock and stamping the insides. And so this year I'm like, forget that. I'm going to do it as I go along. Terry likes it without. Lisa likes it with. Okay, we need a tiebreaker. While you all are joining in and chiming in about that, this is a piece of very vanilla cardstock. It is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to stamp which one did I pick? The Hope All Your Christmas Wishes Come True. It looks like it would be kind of small, but it's actually like really nice size. It's got some nice size to it. Oh, thank you so much, Carla. You're so sweet. With the vanilla. Terry, I think you were outvoted. Okay, so let me just stamp the inside. I'm stamping it in the Night of Navy ink. And it's kind of a nice inside sentiment. There's two that were kind of really nice, and I went with this one. I think I've used the other one before, so trying to sort of switch it up a little bit. Hi, Teresa. Thank you so much. The other one that would be nice for the inside is what's it say? Sending you love and plenty of cheer. May your days be bright throughout all the year. Oh, so sweet. Now, you might be looking at my card and thinking, where's the sentiment? Okay, so here's how my silly brain works. I tried everything. I added a little sentiment, big sentiment, but I guess the OCD in me couldn't get past that the ribbon already had lettering on it and the font didn't match. I know. I'm so OCD kind of crazy. I just didn't like how it looked. If they were like the same font, maybe, but they weren't. And so I scratched the sentiment, and I figured like whoever was receiving this would get a little bit of a sentiment, and then the bigger sentiment would be on the inside. So I don't know. I'm just kind of crazy. I tried different sentiments. I tried working them differently, and I just didn't like it. So we're going with just one. We're going the little bit on the ribbon and then more on the inside. Okay, so we're gonna do the very vanilla one. I already cut it out. So there's, like I said, with the dies, there are a bunch of ones that have this kind of detail to them, and they're different sizes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4. And so 4 sizes. And this is is it the largest one? I think it's the largest one. Yes. Okay, so this is the largest one. Now, we have this great 3D star, and we don't want to completely squish them. So this is what I did. And if you have other ideas, I would love to hear them, because I really was kind of brainstorming how can I get this star to stay down without it being completely clobbered. So what I did is I took 3 dimensionals and I stacked them on top of each other, and I put it in the middle of the star. So 3 dimensionals, and I peeled and stacked, peeled and whoops, stacked, peeled. So it's significantly higher than normally would be. And I put it in the middle, and I really gave it a good push. What'd you say? I think anything additional would have taken away from the wording on the ribbon. That's what I was thinking, Lisa. Yeah, yeah. See? Okay, maybe I'm not as crazy as I think I am. That's kind of what I was thinking. You don't get the full Merry Christmas. I'll show you the ribbon in a second. But it's just enough to kind of say like, hey, Happy Christmas. Okay, so this is my star, and it does get clobbered a little bit. It does get squished. Try and center it, and then you really push it down, and you can kind of pop it up a little bit more. But I mean, I don't know. If anybody has any other ideas, I'm all ears as to what you think might work. You still get the 3D, it's still off, and you definitely get the detailing and the scoring that we did, but you do have to squish it down a little bit. And then what I did for this guy is I took, if you have a mini dimensional, that would work, but I am completely out right now, and I definitely need to order new ones. I just took a little piece of a dimensional, or a mini dimensional would work as well. And I added that. I tried using just glue to glue that down, and it just, maybe I didn't leave it long enough to dry. That wasn't exactly working. So I knew the Stampin' dimensional would be a little bit more permanent. And lined it up and then made them mesh. Push really hard. Okay, so that's where we're at. And it kind of like the tips of the Very Vanilla kind of like fan out a little bit, which is really fun. I love the texture in this card. So then I use the same copper foil, and I already cut out a couple like little flourishes here, as Amy would say, because I don't know how else to describe these things. Whooshes maybe, whoosh. And I'm going to just adhere them. I was trying to see if both sides are the same, and I don't believe they are. Let me just double check. Yeah, one side's a little bit different, like one end. So I kind of want not the same end poking out. And I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue. Come on, if it'll come out. Like so. A little bit will do it. And these I literally just kind of slid in and eyeballed. There was really no rhyme or reason to how I did these. I kind of wanted the start of them to kind of be at the same point, and then one kind of going one way and one kind of going the other way. That was kind of my thought process there. And let's see here. I don't want, okay, those are different ends. And I kind of wanted them, just like the different legs of the star are kind of fanned out, these guys are kind of hanging out as well, which I thought was kind of fun. It adds, again, more texture to the card, because not everything is completely glued down. So it's just appealing, I think, to the eye. Okay, whoops, as my glue falls. And I just literally slid it in. Watch that one not go in. As I say, just slide it in. Slide it in. Now, if you didn't have the ribbon, that guy's not staying. Why isn't he staying? Hold on, I think I gotta put more glue on him. He's not staying, he doesn't wanna go. He's not cooperating. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. Appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. Oh dear, that one side was really cooperating, but this one's kind of not. Maybe I just need to let it dry a little bit more. stay. The other thing that we could have done is just put like adhesive or something directly on the Night of Navy cardstock and glued these down. But you would have had to kind of sort of figure out the size of the star and where the star would be positioned and whatnot. Okay, so last but not least, this really, really fun ribbon. How beautiful is that? It's got a Merry Christmas in 2 different fonts. It's very vanilla and copper, so it goes perfectly with kind of the color scheme that I'm going with and the design. And all I did was tie a knot. I kind of wanted the knot in the middle, but I don't know if I don't know if I can figure out how to make that work again. Well, maybe I can. And I tied it not too tight because I still wanted it a little fluffy. You know, that's a technical. Whoops, I got dimensional on my snips. So here's a question I've always wondered. Do you guys have paper snips just for ribbon and just for paper? Or do you interuse them? I have a friend that she's very faithful about not mixing her her snips so that they stay nice and sharp, but I just use them for everything. One side's a little longer, so I'm just gonna give them a little bit of a trim. Oops. Okay, and again, I'm not tying that knot too tight, but isn't that fun? I just love that. So fun. Hi, Evanel. Good evening. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Okay, and you know my trick with this, because I've done it plenty of times, is I put a glob of glue, literally, one for adhesive cutting and one for paper. Yeah, I think I'm the oddball, and I just use them for everything. I have 2, and instead of keeping like one for one and one for something else, I use them both for everything. They're still sharp though. That's why I love our paper snips. Okay, so I put a glob of glue. I have our little ribbon there, and I gotta take a block, grab a block here, and I'm just gonna place it over the top to hold it in place until it dries, like 5 minutes, and it should be good. But here's the finished product. That ribbon is going nowhere. It's on there for good. There is a little bit of wiggle room here, but I don't think these guys are going anywhere. I think they're pretty set in place. So that's the front, and then there's the inside. Okay, so that's it for tonight. If you've been watching and have yet to leave a comment and would like a chance to win tonight's card, please do so. As soon as I'm done here, I'll put all your names in a hat and draw one for my winner. If you have any questions about any of the product I use, certainly let me know. I would be happy to help you with any of your stamping questions or needs or whatnot. And I will be back, ladies and gentlemen, next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.